All right, in another matter, we've been following the inquiry in Parliament into the fitness of the suspended public protector, Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane, to hold office. She has been given until Thursday next week to answer written questions from the Section 194 inquiry. But Advocate Mkhwebane says she won't be able to meet the deadline, and she joins us on the Full View now. Advocate, thank you for being with us. Before we get to your matter, are you willing to comment on what you think of the report of the acting public protector into the Phala Phala farm theft that came out today?
Good evening, and good evening to your listeners and viewers. Yes, Francis, as far as it concerns the 31 questions which I sent to the President on the 7th of June 2022, which led to my suspension, unfortunately. I see the report does not address those questions. There's, from page 72, it does indicate that we approached the President, an allegations letter was sent to him, and the way the questions were asked, unfortunately, the response was very much broad. And it's so unfortunate that this report came out as it is, because, you know, if you go to Section 96 of the Constitution, it's very clear, especially on the issue of a risk of a conflict. You don't have to prove conflict. The President or any executive should avoid a risk of a conflict. So the President twice himself, he spoke about him being in the business of selling the livestock. So I don't know when the office came to the conclusion it came to. So the Chief Justice, former Chief Justice Ngobo as well spoke, and the other two very experienced legal gurus, they had those findings themselves that the President had to answer. Unfortunately, then this is the outcome, but the good thing about the outcomes of the public protector is that the parties are able to review the report. So I'm hoping now the report is out. Possibly then the Constitutional Court will issue the judgment about my suspension, because SC Batlender of the President said I mustn't touch that report, even if the court finds that I must be going back to the office.
All right. Well, it sounds like your findings may have been very different indeed. But just because of time, let's look at the inquiry into your fitness to hold office. So why are you saying you cannot meet the deadline, which would be Thursday, to answer the written questions?
You know, Francis, I said in my statement that I never missed two deadlines as it was reported. I missed it. They say even I don't even agree with the chairperson of the Section 194 that I missed a deadline, because when I appeared on the 9th of June, I informed the chairperson and the committee that I don't agree. I reject the amended directives which were just done on their own. Normally, the directives, when they were developed and when they are amended, the parties are consulted. That was not done. And he wrote a letter, a very long letter, 24-page, to me on the 13th of June, requesting and indicating that they will take this process, the very same process with the late Tina Jumat Peterson, indicated that he's under pressure and they want him to finish this process. And now they've taken a decision already. They are going to change the process. I won't do anything orally. I will be doing everything in writing and respond in writing. Unfortunately, Francis, the issue of my legal representation is still an issue. They terminated my attorney Chane without consulting me. Then, he was in hospital. There's proof to that. And then they reinstated him. Now they are telling him through the state attorney, you can't read records. No, just a brief counsel. professionally and ethically, that's so wrong. You don't do that because unless then you would want even to interview our legal practice counsel and ask them, is that ethical what Janji is asking the attorneys to do? But what I can say to the public is that for us to move with speed, we've requested that we brief counsel to deal with his recusal because he refuses to recuse himself. Before we requested recusal and he refused voluntarily, then we did the application. So even now, he's refusing to recuse himself voluntarily.
Okay, so Advocate, are you saying that you cannot respond with the written response because you don't have legal representation?
The Constitutional Court was very clear. I should be assisted by my legal representation. I don't have, and it's so impossible. Being given 10 days to respond to more than almost 1,000 questions, and I'm just given 10 days. Remember, they need to assist me. Yes, I must respond myself, but then I must be assisted by them. And what is even so worse and so horrible with this process and unlawfulness, I'm still on the stand. I was still testifying. I must deal with Friede. I must deal with CX. Why now ask me the questions whilst I'm still testifying? So again, that's another unlawful reliance on, I don't know what. Why are they doing this? Because continuously, following this wrong process, wrong procedures and steps, when they have legal advisors, when the very same evidence leaders are the very senior counsel and junior counsel, I mean, I don't know what process. And it's even worse, the DA, the ANC, Good Party, F plus, and they are asking questions whilst I'm still on the stand, whilst I must still testify on the other issues.
Yeah. Advocate, obviously people have been concerned about the delays in this matter, the talk of taxpayers' money being used. As you have said several times, you do have legal rights, and your lawyers have said the same, and that is a given. You have rights, but you mentioned the time issue. To get this moving along, for MPs to be freed up to focus on their work, for you to move along, because taxpayers are involved here, and of course the public is interested. Can't you answer the questions or start answering the questions? You are a trained lawyer, you can protect your rights. Would that not help move things along?
How do I do that, Francis? Yourself, can you really yourself get then answer 1,000 questions? Where, I mean, it means I mustn't sleep. I mean, I was just even checking. The Bible has around 1,005 pages. Being expected to read something like that, the Quran is 600 pages. They are even saying for you to read the whole Quran, at least you must read 20 pages a day. So how many months are you going to take? And it's so worse and so disheartening for you guys to expect me to you busy blaming me for the legal the expenses. Who of you have asked how much has been spent for those legal
Advocate, I'm not blaming you for anything. I'm asking questions. So are you saying that you've been given more than 1,000 questions to answer within 10 days? More than 1,000 questions?
Yes, Francis, put yourself in my position, and I don't have a legal counsel. I want a legal counsel to be, appointed and properly. And I was even questioning why the state attorney, they are not on the panel of the PPSA. Those are the questions. But another thing, remember the president was asked 31 questions. I think it took more than 3 months to even answer those questions. Hence, I'm saying, can you guys also be considerate? I also want this process to be ended. But it's even worse, Francis. The one of the members of the committee, the late Miss Tina Jumat Peterson, extorted money from my husband. There's recordings to that effect mentioning Janti and Pemi Majodina. Now I must go and appear before that kind of a person. I mean, take it yourself. You have your member of the family appearing before judges. One of the judges is approaching you to pay money so that the issue can disappear. Is that the kind of justice we want as a country? Just to deal with one person?
Well, then, before we conclude, can I get your response? Because since you've made those claims, Janti himself has refuted the claims again, and the ANC has closed ranks and also said, rightfully, that you're not presenting direct evidence regarding Pemi Majodina or Richard Janti. As a lawyer, you understand the difference between direct and hearsay evidence. In this case, why are you emphasizing the hearsay evidence? What's your response to what they're saying?
So, it's terrible coming from the ruling party. Are they now investigators themselves? Are they sure that there's no direct evidence? Why just conclude that there's no direct evidence?
But you haven't presented direct evidence, Advocate.
There is direct. My husband.
Do you have direct evidence?
Person. Yes, my husband is the witness, and the police have taken that evidence. So it's so interesting for the ANC
but just to clarify, your husband, did he ever meet with Richard Janti? Did he ever meet with Pemi Majodina? Are there any recordings of them?
I said to you, my husband is the direct witness. There's no hearsay with him. He was directly involved in this issue, and the police are investigating. And I don't know why am I supposed to be then be questioned about this. Mina, I availed the recordings for you, for the members of the public to think for themselves, to listen and hear what the lady said, and exactly what she said, it's exactly what is happening. So I don't think it's fair for us to even ventilate on the direct evidence and the hearsay. I mean, that I've addressed, and I so disappointed that the ruling party and those parties which were there, DA, IFP, ACDP, they are just also saying, no, it's fine, let's proceed. You creating a mockery of justice as a country. I mean, even with this report, now you are saying people can even have dollars, which is not a currency to trade in the country, and a person will just freely do that. The leaders need to lead by example. What are you doing? What are we doing as a country? Just to deal with only one person.
All right. We appreciate your time.